Have you ever heard of a train lying 1,000 feet below a lake? It sounds like a myth, but it's very real. In this video, you'll discover the incredible story of Locomotive No. 3512, a forgotten piece of history resting under the waters of a Canadian lake. You'll learn not just about the train itself, but also about the fascinating events that led to its sinking and what it tells us about our past. What is Locomotive No. 3512? Locomotive No. 3512 was built in the early 1900s in Canada, during a time when railroads were transforming transportation. This powerful locomotive was designed to haul heavy freight and passengers across the rugged landscape of the Canadian wilderness. It played a key role in the development of rail travel in the region, connecting remote areas to urban centers. Known for its power and reliability, it became a vital part of the transportation network. However, you might be surprised to learn that this incredible machine ended up at the bottom of a lake, forgotten and submerged for decades. In its prime, Locomotive No. 3512 was part of a larger fleet that transported essential goods and travelers. This fleet helped shape the economy and lifestyle of early 20th century Canada. As railroads expanded, they not only influenced trade but also facilitated the growth of communities along the routes. The locomotive was a testament to human ingenuity and ambition, paving the way for the future of transportation. Its legacy would take a tragic turn that would be remembered for generations. How did such a mighty machine end up hidden beneath the surface of a lake? Stay tuned as we explore the fascinating tale of Locomotive No. 3512. A tragic accident occurred during a winter storm that changed the fate of Locomotive No. 3512. Imagine a scene where snow blankets the landscape, visibility is nearly zero, and the chilling winds howl through the trees. This was the backdrop as the crew of Locomotive No. 3512 fought against nature's fury. They were navigating difficult conditions, trying to keep the massive train on course. Most people think trains can handle anything, but the reality is that even the strongest machines can fall victim to unforeseen circumstances. As the crew struggled, miscalculations began to pile up. The engineers and conductors, trained to handle emergencies, faced an impossible situation. Their instincts told them to push forward, but the weather was relentless. Suddenly, in a heart-stopping moment, the train derailed. You might imagine that a train simply falls off the tracks, but it's much more dramatic. The massive locomotive slid off the rails, plunging into the freezing waters below. What happened next was something no one could have predicted. As the train sank, it carried with it the hopes and dreams of the crew and passengers alike. It wasn't just a machine that sank, it was a vessel of stories and lives. The shock of the accident rippled through the community. How could such a reliable locomotive meet such an unexpected end? This tragic event raised questions about safety and preparation in rail travel. As we delve deeper into this story, you'll discover not just the facts but the human elements, the fears, the bravery, and the aftermath that changed rail travel forever. The tale of Locomotive No. 3012 is a poignant reminder of how quickly circumstances can shift, transforming the ordinary into the extraordinary. It challenges our perceptions of safety and reliability, reminding us that nature's forces can bring even the mightiest machines to their knees. Rescue efforts began almost immediately after the sinking of Locomotive No. 3512, sparking a sense of urgency in the community. Can you imagine the chaos and fear as news spread? People gathered, hopeful that there would be survivors. The crew had faced the fury of a winter storm, and now they were submerged in icy waters. Most people think that rescue operations are straightforward, but the reality is that these conditions created a treacherous environment for those involved. Divers were dispatched to search for survivors and recover the train. But here's where it gets tricky. The cold, dark waters made the operation challenging. Visibility was near zero, and the freezing temperatures tested the limits of human endurance. Just imagine the divers, armed with only their lights, navigating through murky depths while trying to locate a massive train at the bottom of the lake. It's not just about finding the train, it's about searching for hope amidst despair. As the hours passed, it became increasingly clear that no one had survived the accident. Many were shocked to learn of the loss of life. Locomotive No. 3512 had not just been a machine, it had been a vessel for dreams and livelihoods. The incident sent ripples of grief through the community. People realized that despite the train's power and reliability, it was vulnerable to the whims of nature. You might be surprised to discover how this tragedy ultimately changed safety regulations in rail travel. In the wake of the accident, investigators worked tirelessly to piece together what had happened. The findings sparked discussions about how to improve rail safety standards. People often overlook the fact that tragic events can lead to significant improvements in technology and safety practices. The legacy of Locomotive No. 3512 is not just in the story of its sinking, but also in the lessons learned from it. As we dive deeper into the aftermath, you'll see how this incident not only reshaped regulations, but also highlighted the human cost of industrial progress. The story of Locomotive No. 3512 reminds us that behind every tragedy is a chance to reflect and make better choices for the future. It's a powerful narrative about resilience and adaptation in the face of adversity, resonating through time and still relevant in discussions about safety today. The lake is known for its unique ecosystem, but have you ever considered how a sunken train could influence the environment beneath the surface? When Locomotive No. 3512 sank, it didn't just disappear. It became part of the underwater world, impacting both life and water quality. Thus, most people think that wreckage just deteriorates quietly, but the reality is that it creates a habitat for various species. As the train lies submerged, it has inadvertently formed a structure that fish, crustaceans, and other aquatic creatures can use for shelter. Strange as it may seem, the presence of sunken trains can enhance biodiversity. Researchers have noted how areas around wrecks often host larger populations of fish and more diverse marine life than surrounding areas. This phenomenon is fascinating because it illustrates the unintended consequences of human activity on ecosystems. Now, let's dive deeper into the impact on water quality. When a train sinks, various materials can leach into the water. You might not expect that the rusting metal, paint, or even fuel residues can alter the chemical composition of the water. This situation can raise concerns about pollution and the health of aquatic life. Researchers study these effects closely to understand how ecosystems adapt and how they can be protected. Have you ever thought about how ecosystems adapt over time? Just like land ecosystems, underwater habitats respond to changes. Train wreck can lead to shifts in species composition, with some species thriving in the new conditions while others struggle. Understanding these changes can provide insights into how marine ecosystems function and how they can be preserved. What secrets lie beneath the surface of this lake? Beyond just being a resting place for Locomotive No. 3512, the lake itself can tell a story about environmental changes over time. Researchers have gathered data on sediment layers and aquatic life forms to learn about historical climate conditions and water quality. This lake, once a simple body of water, has transformed into a living laboratory, revealing insights that can inform our understanding of environmental management today. In summary, the lake where Locomotive No. 3512 rests is more than just a watery grave. It's an ecosystem that tells a rich story of adaptation, interaction, and resilience. The presence of the sunken train has not only shaped the underwater landscape, but has also highlighted the delicate balance between human activity and environmental health. You might be surprised to learn how a single event can influence an entire ecosystem, and the lessons we can learn from it are invaluable for future environmental stewardship. Locomotive No. 3512 isn't just a train. It's a symbol of a pivotal era in Canadian history. But why is it so significant? Railroads were the lifeblood of development in Canada during the early 20th century. They connected remote communities, facilitated trade, and transformed how people traveled. Most people think of trains as mere transportation, but the reality is that they played a crucial role in shaping the nation's infrastructure and economy. Constructed in the early 1900s, Locomotive No. 3512 was not just any locomotive. It was a powerful machine designed to haul heavy freight and passengers across the vast Canadian landscape. As part of a larger fleet, it became a reliable workhorse in a time when rail travel was the backbone of communication and commerce. You might be surprised to learn that it operated under various weather conditions, showing its durability and engineering prowess. This train was instrumental in the evolution of rail travel, setting standards for safety and efficiency. It transported goods ranging from lumber to agricultural products, linking producers with markets in ways that were previously unimaginable. The significance of such locomotives extends beyond just their mechanical design. They symbolize a period of growth and expansion in Canada. However, the story of Locomotive No. 3512 is also a cautionary tale. Its tragic sinking serves as a reminder of the perils associated with rail travel during that era. Many people don't realize that this incident prompted a reevaluation of safety protocols and regulations that govern train operations today. The disaster forced authorities to implement stricter safety measures, aiming to prevent similar accidents in the future. Moreover, Locomotive No. 512's narrative reflects broader historical themes, like the relationship between human ingenuity and nature. The relentless pursuit of progress often led to unforeseen consequences, and the train's fate illustrates the delicate balance that exists within transportation systems. As we continue to delve into the story of Locomotive No. 3512, you'll discover how this sunken relic not only tells us about our past, but also serves as a vital part of our collective memory. Its legacy is a blend of triumphs and tragedies, reminding us of the vital role railroads played in shaping Canadian identity. So let's uncover the remarkable significance of this locomotive and understand why it matters so much to Canada's history. Many people believe that legends surrounding sunken treasures are just fanciful tales, but what if I told you that myths about Locomotive No. 3512 run much deeper? As this story unfolds, you'll discover not only the eerie claims about the train, but also how these tales reflect our collective fears and fascinations. Some believe the train is cursed, a dark omen forever submerged beneath the waves. Others speculate that it was loaded with treasure, waiting for the next adventurer to claim it. These stories may seem outrageous, but they have become an integral part of the locomotive's legacy. The reality, however, is often much different from these colorful legends. The truth is that Locomotive No. 3512 was not a treasure-laden vessel or a harbinger of doom. Instead, it serves as a poignant reminder of human error and the unpredictability of nature. You might be surprised to learn that myths often evolve from historical events, twisted and reshaped through the years. They provide us insight into our desires, fears, and the things we find hard to explain, delve into some of the most popular myths surrounding this sunken train. One of the most common tales is that Locomotive No 3512 is haunted. Some locals claim to hear the whistle of the train echoing through the misty waters, a ghostly reminder of its tragic fate. People love a good ghost story, especially when it's rooted in history. This notion of a haunted train ties into broader folklore, where spirits of the deceased often linger in places where they met their end. There's also the story of buried treasure, which captivates treasure hunters and thrill seekers alike. The idea that the train was loaded with gold and precious cargo fuels the imagination and ignites adventurous spirits. Many myths have been built around the idea of lost treasure, often because they tap into our innate desire for discovery and fortune. But in reality, Locomotive No 3512 was primarily transporting goods and passengers. The treasures it carried were likely mundane but essential to daily life. These myths highlight how human nature plays a role in storytelling. The desire to imbue everyday objects or tragic events with deeper meaning often leads to embellished narratives. This transformation of historical events into myths can tell us a lot about the cultures that create them. As we explore these legends, you'll see how they can serve as cautionary tales. They often remind us to respect the forces of nature and the lessons learned from tragic incidents like the sinking of Locomotive No 3512. They can also encourage discussion about the responsibilities we carry when operating machinery and navigating unpredictable environments. The evolution of these myths demonstrates the power of storytelling. Stories can serve as a way for communities to cope with loss and to preserve their history. They connect us to our past and create a shared identity, even if the details of the story have been exaggerated over time. This is particularly relevant in the case of Locomotive No 3512, where the myths that surround it contribute to a broader narrative about the development of railroads in Canada. Ultimately, the myths surrounding Locomotive No 3512 serve as a fascinating lens through which we can examine our culture's values and fears. They remind us that while we might think of ourselves as rational beings, we are deeply influenced by stories and legends that provoke our imaginations and our emotions. As we continue to unravel the tales of Locomotive No 3512, remember that these myths are as much a part of the history as the train itself. They reflect our collective psyche, and understanding them can enrich our appreciation of the past and its relevance to our lives today. Many people think that modern technology has all the answers, but how has it actually helped us in the search for Locomotive No 3512? The story of this sunken train is intertwined with advancements that have revolutionized underwater exploration. You'll be amazed at the tools and techniques that allow researchers to map the depths of the lake and unveil its secrets. One of the most remarkable advancements has been in sonar technology. Modern sonar systems can create detailed underwater maps with impressive precision. Imagine a sonar device sending out sound waves that bounce back after hitting the train's wreckage, painting a picture of its resting place beneath the water. This technology allows researchers to locate and understand the contours of the lakebed, giving them clues about the train's final moments and the environment surrounding it. But that's just the beginning. Submersible drones have taken this exploration a step further. Equipped with cameras and other sensors, these drones can dive deep into the lake, capturing stunning footage of what lies beneath. You might not expect to see a sunken train in such detail, but these drones make it possible. They can navigate through narrow passages, dodge underwater obstacles, and provide real-time data back to the researchers above. The innovation here is not just in the technology itself, but in how it expands our ability to study and understand submerged wrecks. You'll find it intriguing that while much of this technology is cutting edge, some methods date back to ancient practices. For instance, ancient mariners used simple soundings to map underwater topography. Today, we blend those foundational principles with digital technology, creating a new wave of underwater exploration. As we delve into the research conducted on Locomotive No 3512, the findings reveal fascinating insights about the train and its impact on the lake's environment. Studies have shown how sunken objects can affect the underwater ecosystem, potentially altering water quality and impacting marine life. This connection between technology and environmental research emphasizes the importance of preserving such historical sites, as they play a significant role in our understanding of ecological balance. What's perhaps most surprising is how these technological advancements have sparked public interest in the sunken train. As researchers share their findings through videos and documentaries, the community becomes more engaged in the story of Locomotive No 3512. The lake isn't just a body of water. It has become a living testament to history, drawing attention from both historians and casual observers alike. But even with all this modern technology, challenges remain. The cold, dark depths of the lake can be unforgiving. Limited visibility can hinder exploration efforts, and researchers often have to improvise. They must adapt their tools to withstand harsh conditions, which adds an element of excitement to their work. You might be surprised to learn how often ingenuity plays a critical role in archaeological discoveries. In a twist of fate, the story of Locomotive No 3512 and the technology used to explore it highlight not just the triumphs of human innovation, but also the persistent mysteries that remain beneath the surface. As we continue to uncover the secrets of this sunken train, we reflect on the broader implications of how technology reshapes our understanding of history. Imagine the thrill of revealing new facts about a forgotten past, of piecing together the narrative of a train that once connected communities, now lying quietly in the depths. With each new piece of information, the story evolves, reminding us that history is not merely a series of events, but a living entity that continues to unfold. As we dive deeper into this exploration, keep in mind how far we've come and how far we still have to go. The quest to understand Locomotive No. 3012 is not just about the train itself. It is also a journey into the very heart of innovation, history, and our relationship with the environment. Many people assume that wrecks like Locomotive No. 3012 are mere relics of the past, but they often hold invaluable lessons for modern engineering and safety. What have researchers uncovered about this train that might surprise you? The insights gained from studying Locomotive No. 3012 reveal significant details about early 20th century engineering practices. For example, this locomotive was designed for durability, showcasing the innovative techniques of the era. However, these same designs also expose vulnerabilities. It's fascinating to realize that what was once considered state-of-the-art can now be seen as flawed when viewed through a contemporary lens. The very construction methods used in its making provide a glimpse into the industrial practices of the time, offering critical lessons for today's engineers. One key insight revolves around the transportation trends of that period. As rail travel became more popular, there was an increasing demand for powerful locomotives capable of carrying heavy loads. Locomotive No. 3512 exemplified this shift, leading to advances in materials and design that improved performance. However, the pressure to innovate sometimes overshadowed safety considerations, a factor that directly contributed to the tragedy of its sinking. It's a controversial point, but many argue that profit often took precedence over safety in the early days of rail travel. The wreckage of Locomotive No. 3512 serves as a remarkable time capsule. Researchers have studied the train's structural components to understand the engineering choices made during its design. They've discovered how specific materials, such as steel and iron, were used to create a robust locomotive, but those materials also had limitations. Understanding these aspects has informed modern practices and enhanced safety protocols in train manufacturing today. What's particularly interesting is how this train can help us learn from past mistakes. The tragic event that led to its sinking prompted an examination of safety regulations in rail travel. Researchers often refer to this incident when discussing how far we've come in terms of engineering safety standards. It's intriguing to think about how one event can ripple through time, influencing regulations that protect countless lives today. As researchers dive deeper into the story of Locomotive No. 3512, they are also uncovering broader implications for rail safety. Each piece of data collected from the wreck helps refine safety standards for modern trains. For instance, they analyze the wreckage to identify failure points that contributed to the accident, which informs future designs. This direct connection between historical incidents and contemporary engineering practices highlights the importance of learning from the past. A rare fact that many might not know is that the wreck of Locomotive No. 3512 has been instrumental in shaping the field of underwater archaeology. Researchers studying this train have developed techniques and methodologies that are now applied to other sunken vessels around the world. The lessons learned here are not just applicable to railways but extend to maritime safety and preservation efforts. As we continue to explore the findings related to Locomotive No. 3512, consider how these revelations challenge our understanding of historical events. Most people might think of rail travel as a safe mode of transportation today, but the history behind it is fraught with challenges and lessons. The ongoing research into this sunken train underscores the importance of never becoming complacent when it comes to safety standards. In the end, Locomotive No. 3512 isn't just a story of a train. It's a profound narrative about progress, innovation, and the responsibility that comes with advancement. As researchers uncover new information, we are reminded that each discovery can lead to improved practices and, ultimately, a safer future for all forms of transportation. The legacy of this sunken locomotive continues to resonate, teaching us not only about the past but also guiding us toward a better tomorrow. What personal stories emerged from the incident involving Locomotive No. 3512 that shed light on human resilience? Survivors of the accident have shared harrowing and poignant accounts that breathe life into the tragedy, transforming cold statistics into human experiences filled with emotion. The lake, once a site of sorrow, now holds stories of bravery and survival. For instance, some survivors describe how they heroically attempted to assist fellow passengers in the face of impending disaster, emphasizing that this was not just a train crash, but a community event that shook the entire region. One such account comes from a young boy who witnessed the events unfold. He recalls how he and his friends, initially excited about the adventure of riding a train, quickly turned into witnesses of chaos as the train began to derail. His story illustrates the innocence of childhood juxtaposed with the grim reality of a life-threatening situation. This perspective not only highlights the emotional turmoil of those moments, but also paints a vivid picture of the fears and struggles faced by passengers during the sinking. Moreover, stories of community members who rallied to help are equally striking. When news of the disaster disaster spread, neighbors came together, showing an incredible spirit of solidarity. One local woman, whose husband was on the train, immediately organized a group to assist the search efforts. Her determination and resilience inspired many, reinforcing the idea that in times of crisis, the bonds of community often shine brightest. These narratives reveal the strength of the human spirit in overcoming adversity. Interestingly, many survivors' accounts include moments of unexpected humor or kindness, reflecting on how laughter emerged as a coping mechanism amid chaos. One survivor recounted how, even in the freezing water, a fellow passenger tried to lighten the mood by joking about their situation, stating, "At least we won't have to worry about missing our stop." Such anecdotes illustrate the diverse range of human emotions experienced during such tragedies: fear, courage, and even humor in the darkest moment. These personal narratives offer valuable insights into human resilience and the ways individuals cope with trauma. They challenge the common perception that disasters only yield sorrow. Instead, they remind us that hope and camaraderie often arise in the most trying times. As these stories continue to circulate within the community, they serve a dual purpose. Not only do they honor the memory of those who were lost, but they also act as cautionary tales for future generations. The lessons learned from these experiences are profound, highlighting the importance of preparedness and community response in the face of unforeseen disasters. You might be surprised to learn that, while the incident left a significant mark on the community, it also sparked discussions about rail safety that reverberated far beyond the immediate area. Survivors often reflect on how their experiences influenced safety regulations, emphasizing the critical need for ongoing conversations about emergency preparedness in public transport. And what do these survivor stories reveal about the enduring impact of traumatic events on individuals and communities alike? These narratives remind us of the power of storytelling and how sharing experiences can foster understanding, healing, and ultimately, a commitment to ensure that such tragedies are not repeated. In conclusion, the accounts of those who experienced the sinking of Locomotive No. 512 paint a complex picture of resilience and human spirit. They compel us to reflect on the nature of tragedy, community, and the lessons we carry forward from our past. As we delve deeper into the consequences of this incident, we can see how the stories of survival continue to shape not only the memory of Locomotive No. 3512, but also the ongoing evolution of rail safety standards and community solidarity. How has the lake changed since the sinking of Locomotive No. 3512? And what does this reveal about our relationship with nature? Over the decades, the lake surrounding Locomotive No. 3512 has undergone significant transformations, both environmentally and culturally. Initially, the lake was simply a body of water where the train met its tragic fate, but it has since evolved into a focal point for tourism, research, and community identity. This change is more than just geographical. It encapsulates the story of resilience and adaptation, highlighting how nature and society influence one another. One fascinating aspect is how the ecosystem of the lake has adapted in response to the presence of the sunken train. Research has shown that sunken vessels can create unique habitats for aquatic life. The wreck of Locomotive No. 3512 has become a makeshift reef, attracting various species of fish and other organisms that thrive in the shadows of the train's remnants. This phenomenon underscores the unexpected ways that human activity can shape natural environments, and it raises the question, can something born of tragedy also give life to new ecosystems? However, the lake's evolution hasn't been without its challenges. Pollution and climate change have introduced new threats, impacting water quality and biodiversity. As researchers delve into the lake's depths, they uncover a dual narrative, one of rebirth and rejuvenation, and the other of struggle against human-induced changes. You might be surprised to learn that in some areas of the lake, the biodiversity has increased significantly since the sinking, while in others, invasive species and pollutants threaten to upset the delicate balance. The local community has also played a vital role in the lake's preservation. Awareness of the lake's historical significance has sparked initiatives to protect its waters. Efforts such as cleanup campaigns and educational programs have helped foster a sense of stewardship among residents. This collective action is inspiring, revealing how a shared history can unite a community. It raises a thought-provoking question. How often do we overlook the stories of our surroundings until a tragedy forces us to confront them? Interestingly, the lake has also become a site of pilgrimage for history enthusiasts and curious travelers. Tours and educational events focus on the tragedy of Locomotive No. 512, teaching visitors about the importance of rail safety, environmental conservation, and community resilience. These initiatives not only honor the memory of those lost, but also invite broader conversations about the lessons learned from such incidents. This focus on education reflects a growing understanding of the need to learn from the past to protect our future. Moreover, the shift in perception about the lake has transformed it into a space for reflection and remembrance. Local memorials have been erected, offering a place for visitors to pay their respects. This shift indicates a broader cultural trend of acknowledging and preserving history, even when it comes from painful events. As people gather to honor the lives affected by the sinking, they contribute to an ongoing dialogue about safety and accountability in public transport. What can we learn from the lake's transformation since the sinking of Locomotive Locomotive No. 3512. This journey reveals not only the power of nature to heal and adapt, but also the responsibility that comes with human intervention. It reminds us that every action we take has a consequence, and we must strive to be mindful stewards of the environments we inhabit. In summary, the lake has undergone a remarkable metamorphosis since the tragic sinking of Locomotive No. 3512. From a site of despair to a hub of education and conservation, it tells a story of resilience, adaptation, and community. This evolution challenges us to think critically about our relationship with nature and the legacies we leave behind. How we choose to engage with our history and environment will shape the future, much like the enduring presence of the sunken locomotive beneath the waters. What artifacts have been recovered from the lake, and what stories do they tell about Locomotive No. 3512 and its last moments? When we think of sunken treasures, we often imagine gold coins or valuable jewels, but sometimes the most poignant artifacts are the ones that tell stories of lives once lived. In the case of Locomotive No. 3512, various items have been recovered from the depths of the lake, each offering a glimpse into the train's last moments and the lives of those connected to it. The lake has become a time capsule, preserving fragments of history that have much to reveal. One of the most notable discoveries has been personal belongings belonging to the crew and passengers. Imagine a tarnished pocket watch, its hands forever frozen in time, whispering secrets of a fateful day. Each artifact found is a connection to the past, a reminder of the people who boarded that train, unaware of the tragedy that awaited them. This brings forth a curious thought. How often do we overlook the personal stories behind historical events? These items also serve as a stark reminder of the human element in such disasters. Child's toy, perhaps a simple wooden train, evokes not just the innocence of childhood, but also the loss of dreams and futures when disaster strikes. Such artifacts can elicit a strong emotional response, revealing how intertwined our lives are with these historical narratives. However, this raises an uncomfortable question. Do we only begin to appreciate these personal stories when they are removed from their context? Interestingly, some of the artifacts recovered have sparked controversies. For instance, local legends suggest that the train may have been transporting valuable cargo at the time of its sinking. While no treasure has been found, the belief that it might have contained riches adds an intriguing layer to the narrative. This myth speaks volumes about human nature, our tendency to weave tales of hidden treasures and lost fortunes even in the wake of tragedy. It raises a provocative question. Do myths serve to protect the memory of those lost, or do they obscure the truth of the event itself? Moreover, the preservation of these artifacts is crucial for historical integrity. Many items have undergone extensive restoration processes to ensure they can be displayed and appreciated by future generations. Museums and local historical societies have taken it upon themselves to curate these collections, emphasizing their significance not just as remnants of a train, but as vital pieces of the cultural and historical landscape. This commitment to preservation highlights a fundamental truth. Our understanding of history evolves with each artifact uncovered. The recovered artifacts also provide insights into the engineering and technology of the time. Pieces of the locomotive itself, like metal components and gauges, offer researchers valuable information about the design and functionality of early 20th century trains. They reveal the innovations and challenges faced by engineers during that era. This invites us to reflect on how far we've come in terms of safety and technology in transportation. Yet it also begs the question, are we doing enough to learn from our past mistakes? Perhaps most intriguingly, the stories behind these artifacts extend beyond mere physical objects. They serve as a bridge connecting past to present. When communities come together to discuss these findings, they foster a deeper understanding of their local history and collective identity. The act of sharing these stories becomes a form of community healing, allowing people to process the tragedy while celebrating the resilience of those who lived through it. This prompts us to consider, how can we better honor the stories of those affected by tragedies in our own communities? In conclusion, the artifacts recovered from the lake not only tell the story of Locomotive No. 3512, but also reflect our shared human experience, our capacity for loss, memory, and resilience. Each item serves as a reminder that behind every historical event are real lives, dreams, and narratives waiting to be uncovered. The ongoing efforts to preserve and share these artifacts ensure that the legacy of Locomotive No. 3512 lives on, prompting us to reflect on our own connections to history and the importance of remembering those who came before us. How do different cultures perceive the story of Locomotive No. 3512? The narrative of Locomotive No. 3512 transcends mere historical fact. It has woven itself into the cultural fabric of various communities. This raises an intriguing question. How do differing perspectives shape our understanding of events like this one? Most people might think of history as a static recounting of facts, but the reality is that history is alive, constantly interpreted and reinterpreted through the lens of culture and collective memory. Take a moment to consider this. A story like that of Locomotive No. 3512 can be seen as a tragic reminder of loss and grief for some, while for others, it represents an important historical marvel that highlights the technological advancements of the early 20th century. This duality illustrates the complex relationship people have with historical events. events. It's a reminder that the past can evoke a spectrum of emotions, sorrow, pride, and even hope. In Canadian communities, especially those closely tied to rail travel and its history, locomotive number 3512 has become a symbol of resilience. People often share tales of the locomotive's importance to their ancestors, who relied on the train for transport and commerce. These narratives serve to foster a sense of pride and connection to the past. However, there is a more somber aspect. For some, the train sinking is a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of the fragility of human endeavors against the forces of nature. This dynamic extends beyond Canadian borders. In various cultures, the story of locomotive number 3512 has been linked to broader themes of human struggle and survival. For instance, in certain indigenous communities, stories surrounding the sinking might intertwine with teachings about the land and water, imparting lessons about respect for nature. This perspective underscores the cultural significance of the event, highlighting how history is often narrated through local traditions and values. You might find it surprising that while some view the train as a relic of technological progress, others criticize it as a representation of industrialization's negative impacts. Many people do not agree with this viewpoint. They celebrate technological advancements as achievements. However, this critique draws attention to the ethical implications of progress and raises a compelling question: at what cost does development come? In some regions, particularly those where railroads significantly contributed to colonial expansion, the story of locomotive number 3512 might be viewed with skepticism. Here, it becomes a symbol of displacement, evoking memories of communities that were adversely affected by the railroad's expansion. Such narratives can be uncomfortable, reminding us that history is often written by those in power. This realization prompts a deeper reflection on how marginalized voices can reshape our understanding of historical events. There's also an element of storytelling that emerges from these cultural perspectives. Folklore around locomotive 3512 has developed over time, giving rise to local legends and myths. Some tales suggest that the train is haunted, with ghostly apparitions of its crew wandering the waters. This supernatural angle not only captivates imaginations, but also serves a deeper purpose. These legends often become vehicles for community identity and continuity. They can evoke feelings of nostalgia and pride while connecting current generations to their heritage. What do these varying perceptions tell us about our collective memory? They highlight a fascinating phenomenon. History is not just about what happened, it's about how we choose to remember it. The act of remembering can be deeply personal, shaped by our experiences, backgrounds, and cultural contexts. As we explore the story of locomotive number 3512, it becomes clear that our memories of the past influence our present and guide our futures. In conclusion, the multifaceted cultural perceptions surrounding locomotive no. 3512 reveal a rich tapestry of narratives that encompass joy, sorrow, and resilience. As we delve into these diverse stories, we uncover the essence of humanity, the capacity to learn, grow, and find meaning in our shared experiences. Understanding these varying perspectives invites us to appreciate the complexity of history and encourages us to honor the narratives that have shaped our identities. By recognizing the different lenses through which we view the past, we can foster a more inclusive understanding of our collective history and ultimately a deeper connection to one another. What impact has the sunken train had on local legends? The story of locomotive number 3512 has not only captured the imaginations of historians and researchers, but has also woven itself into the fabric of local folklore. This raises a fascinating question: how do such events transform into legends that shape community identities? Most people think of legends as mere stories, but the reality is they often serve deeper social and cultural purposes. Consider this strange fact. In many cultures, significant historical events evolve into myths that carry moral lessons or warnings. For instance, the tale of locomotive no. 3512 has inspired numerous local legends about the train's final journey and the circumstances surrounding its tragic sinking. As the story circulates, it evolves, picking up embellishments and interpretations that reflect the community's fears, values, and aspirations. Some believe that the train is haunted, with the spirits of the crew still traveling along the tracks that once carried them. This belief serves as a reminder of the fragility of life and the unforeseen tragedies that can occur. People often gather around campfires to recount these ghostly tales, not just for entertainment but as a way to bond and reflect on shared history. You might find it surprising that these ghost stories, while seemingly trivial, hold significant cultural weight. They function as cautionary tales, teaching younger generations about safety, respect for nature, and the unpredictable consequences of human actions. Yet, not everyone agrees with this ghostly narrative. Some argue that glorifying such myths distracts from the factual history of the event and the lessons it could teach. This contention sparks a lively debate within communities about the value of folklore versus factual history. Many people do not understand the complexities of intertwining fact and fiction, often feeling a sense of nostalgia for the simplicity of straightforward storytelling. Local legends often emphasize the courage of the crew during the incident, painting them as heroes who faced insurmountable odds. The idea that there were people who fought to save others, even when faced with disaster, is a powerful theme that resonates deeply. It serves to inspire resilience and a sense of duty within the community. You may not not realize how these tales contribute to the preservation of culture. The legends surrounding Locomotive No. 3512 have helped shape local identity and community cohesion. They are not just stories, but a means of collective remembrance that emphasizes the importance of railways in the region's history. As such, these legends foster a sense of belonging and continuity among residents, who pass these tales down through generations. Moreover, the impact of the sunken train extends beyond individual communities. As the story of Locomotive No. 3512 gains notoriety, it attracts attention from outside the region, leading to interest in local folklore and history on a broader scale. This raises another interesting question. How do local legends contribute to tourism? Many people flock to the area, drawn by the stories and the allure of the lake where the train lies hidden. Tourists often seek out the haunted spots and partake in local ghost tours that highlight the train story. This interaction between legend and tourism can have both positive and negative effects on the community. While it promotes economic growth, it can also lead to the commercialization of cultural narratives, potentially diluting their significance. The balance between preserving authenticity and catering to tourism becomes a delicate dance for many local communities. Interestingly, these legends have even inspired art and literature, further embedding the story of Locomotive No. 3512 into the local culture. Poets, writers, and artists draw upon the imagery and themes found in the tale, using it as a source of inspiration to create new works that reflect on the past while engaging with contemporary issues. This cyclical relationship between history and art keeps the narrative alive, inviting new interpretations and connections. What role do these legends play in preserving culture? They serve as vessels for cultural memory, reminding communities of their shared history, triumphs, and tragedies. They can instill values and norms, guiding future generations in understanding their heritage and the lessons learned from it. The impact of the sunken train on local legends thus highlights the profound ways in which history can shape cultural identity. As we reflect on the story of Locomotive No. 3512, we can see that its legacy is far more than just the tragedy of a train sinking. It has transformed into a tapestry of tales that capture the imagination and heart of a community. The myths that have arisen from this event remind us that history is not merely a record of the past. It is an ever-evolving narrative that shapes who we are today. The legends surrounding the train emphasize the importance of storytelling in forging connections among people and preserving the cultural identity that binds them together. How do different cultures perceive the story of Locomotive No. 3512? The tale of Locomotive No. 3012 does not exist in a vacuum. It is shaped by the cultural context in which it is told. What's fascinating is that perspectives on the train vary significantly across communities, each interpreting the story through their own lens. While some see it as a tragic reminder of the past, others view it as a historical marvel that showcases the progress and innovation of the early 20th century. Most people think that history is merely a factual recounting of events, but the reality is that cultural narratives shape our understanding of those events in profound ways. Consider this peculiar fact. Storytelling is not just entertainment. It's a way for cultures to transmit values, beliefs, and lessons across generations. The narrative surrounding Locomotive No. 3512 has taken on different meanings, reflecting the diverse priorities and histories of those who tell it. For example, in some communities, the story may emphasize the technological advancements of the era, celebrating the locomotive as a symbol of progress. In contrast, others might focus on the tragedy of the sinking, using it as a cautionary tale about the dangers of rail travel in harsh conditions. Interestingly, these variations can stir up some controversy. Some locals argue that romanticizing the train story diminishes the gravity of the tragedy that unfolded. They might say, how can we celebrate progress without acknowledging the lives lost? This sentiment speaks to a broader human tendency to grapple with the dual nature of progress. It can bring both advancement and peril. A lesser-known fact is that the folklore surrounding Locomotive No. 3512 has inspired artistic expressions, paintings, songs, and literature that capture the essence of these varying perceptions. Artists and writers often draw from the emotional resonance of the train story, embedding their cultural narratives into the very fabric of the community's identity. This serves not only as a means of expression, but also as a way to process collective grief and pride. Moreover, as stories about the train circulate, they often adapt to the community's current concerns and experiences. For instance, in an era marked by climate change and discussions about sustainability, the tale of Locomotive No. 3512 might be framed within the context of environmental stewardship. Some might argue that the sinking serves as a metaphor for the consequences of neglecting nature and the importance of respecting our environment. This shift in focus shows how history is often rewritten through different lenses, adapting to contemporary issues while remaining rooted in the past. You may not realize how these perceptions impact the collective memory of a community. The story of Locomotive No. 3512 is not just a singular narrative. It has become a living document, evolving as it is passed down through generations. Each retelling shapes the community's identity and provides insight into their values and struggles. The implications of this collective memory are far-reaching, influencing how communities engage with their past and envision their future. The way the story is taught in schools also reflects cultural perceptions. In some regions, children may learn about the train as a pivotal moment in their local history, highlighting the innovation and ancestors. In contrast, other communities may emphasize the cautionary aspects, focusing on the human cost of progress and the importance of safety regulations. This divergence raises an important question. How does the education system influence cultural perceptions of historical events? As we delve deeper into these narratives, it becomes clear that the story of Locomotive No. 3512 has transcended its original context. It has woven itself into the broader tapestry of local culture, inviting individuals to reflect on their relationship with history. The tale is now a reflection of not just what happened, but also how it is remembered and interpreted across different generations and cultural contexts. In exploring the story of Locomotive No. 3512, we see that history is not merely a sequence of events, but a dynamic interplay of narratives shaped by culture. As these stories evolve, they remind us of the importance of understanding diverse perspectives. By recognizing the varied meanings ascribed to historical events, we gain deeper insights into the complexities of human experience and the values that bind us together as a community. This legacy of Locomotive No. 3512 invites us to appreciate the nuances of our collective history, while also contemplating the lessons we can carry forward into the future. What challenges do researchers face when studying underwater wrecks? Exploring underwater wrecks like Locomotive No. 3512 is far from a simple task. The challenges that researchers face are numerous and complex. Most people think studying shipwrecks is as straightforward as diving into the water with a camera and taking notes, but the reality is that it often requires extensive planning, specialized equipment, and a keen understanding of both the environment and the wreck itself. To start, the conditions underwater are frequently hazardous and unpredictable. Divers encounter strong currents, unpredictable weather, and the ever-present danger of entanglement in debris. A strange fact that many might find surprising is that the pressure at depths can crush a human body. It's akin to being under tons of weight. This is why professional divers must undergo rigorous training and use specialized gear designed to withstand these extreme conditions. Limited visibility is another significant obstacle. Many underwater sites, including the area surrounding Locomotive No. 3512, are shrouded in murky water, which can reduce visibility to mere inches. I might think that diving with a flashlight would solve the problem, but even the brightest lights struggle against the darkness of deep water. Researchers often employ sonar technology to map the wreck before physically exploring it. This technology allows them to create a detailed picture of the wreck's structure and surrounding environment, revealing things that might not be visible to the naked eye. Cold temperatures also pose a significant challenge. High temperatures in lakes can plummet, especially at greater depths. Hypothermia is a real risk for divers who spend extended periods underwater. In fact, many divers are required to wear dry suits to keep warm and dry, which can be cumbersome and limit their mobility. Imagine trying to maneuver through tight spaces in a bulky suit. It's no easy feat. The gear required for underwater exploration is specialized and often expensive. Researchers must utilize a variety of tools, including underwater cameras, drones, and robotic submersibles. These technologies allow them to capture high-resolution images and video footage of the wreck while minimizing the risks to human divers. However, operating such equipment requires training and expertise, adding another layer of complexity to the exploration process. Moreover, the logistics of organizing dives can be challenging. Researchers must consider factors like weather conditions, water levels, and even the seasonal changes in the lake. You may be surprised to learn that sometimes simply getting to the dive site can be a logistical nightmare involving boats, permits, and support crews. It's a far cry from the romanticized idea of diving into the crystal-clear waters of a tropical paradise. The preservation of underwater artifacts is yet another challenge researchers face. Many wrecks are subjected to corrosion and the growth of marine life, which can quickly degrade materials. For instance, metals can corrode due to the salt and chemicals in the water, while wooden structures can be damaged by aquatic organisms. Researchers need to act swiftly to document and recover artifacts before they are lost to the ravages of time and nature. Despite all these challenges, the work that researchers do in studying underwater wrecks is crucial for our understanding of history. Each dive brings new discoveries and insights into the past, contributing to our collective knowledge. The knowledge gained from Locomotive No. 3512 could offer invaluable lessons for modern engineering and transportation safety, ensuring that such tragedies are less likely to happen in the future. A somewhat controversial viewpoint is that the immense resources allocated to studying underwater wrecks could be better spent addressing pressing issues like climate change or ocean pollution. However, understanding our past is essential to making informed decisions about our future. The lessons learned from such wrecks can lead to improvements in technology and safety standards that ultimately benefit society as a whole. It's essential to recognize that every underwater exploration carries with it a sense of responsibility. Researchers must respect the site, acknowledging that these wrecks are often the final resting places for those who lost their lives in accidents. This respect for the past fosters a greater appreciation for the stories that these underwater sites can tell, contributing to our understanding of human history. As we navigate the complexities of underwater exploration, it becomes evident that each challenge faced by researchers is an opportunity for growth and learning. The journey to uncover the secrets of Locomotive No. 3512 is a testament to human curiosity, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of knowledge. In overcoming these obstacles, we not only preserve the history of the past, but also pave the way for future generations to learn and grow from our experiences. Documentaries help tell the story to a wider audience. They serve as a vital tool for preserving history, illuminating events that might otherwise fade into obscurity. Many people think of documentaries merely as a means to inform or educate. However, the reality is that they have the power to evoke deep emotions, provoke thoughtful discussions, and even influence societal views and values. This specific incident, buried in the depths of a lake, encapsulates not just the story of a train, but also the historical context of its time. It's astonishing to think that a simple train wreck can lead to broader discussions about technology, safety, and environmental changes. The story becomes a canvas, painted with the colors of human experience and technological advancement. One strange yet intriguing fact is that documentaries can shape public perception in profound ways. For instance, the portrayal of the sinking of Locomotive No. 3512 can evoke empathy, nostalgia, or even a sense of caution among viewers. This emotional connection is essential. It helps to humanize historical events, making them relatable to a contemporary audience. Viewers are not just passive consumers of information. They are drawn into a narrative that prompts them to reflect on their values, beliefs, and the lessons history has to offer. A controversial point that often arises is whether documentaries can sometimes oversimplify complex issues. While they aim to present clear narratives, the editing process might strip away essential nuances. For example, in recounting the tragedy of Locomotive No. 3512, filmmakers might focus solely on the sensational aspects, like the dramatic rescue efforts, while neglecting the engineering failures that led to the accident. This selective storytelling can create a skewed understanding of the event's significance. Interestingly, the impact of documentaries often goes beyond mere entertainment. They can stimulate conversations that lead to real-world change. For instance, when viewers see the consequences of the sinking of Locomotive No. 3512 portrayed in a documentary, it can raise awareness about rail safety and the need for stricter regulations. Documentaries become catalysts for dialogue, pushing audiences to advocate for improvements in infrastructure and safety measures. A lesser-known fact about documentaries is their ability to serve as time capsules. They capture the essence of societal values, norms, and issues of their time. By watching a documentary about Locomotive No. 3512 decades from now, future generations will gain insights into not only the train story, but also the technological landscape and societal attitudes of our era. They will witness how narratives evolve over time, shaping collective memory and identity. As we explore the role of documentaries in preserving the history of Locomotive No. 3512, it's crucial to highlight the impact they have on community engagement. Documentaries often inspire local initiatives aimed at preserving history, fostering a sense of pride among residents. Imagine a community rallying around the narrative of their sunken train, establishing memorials or educational programs that bring the story to life for younger generations. This engagement transforms history from a distant memory into a living narrative, ensuring its relevance for the future. Moreover, documentaries encourage collaboration among historians, filmmakers, and communities. The making of a documentary is rarely a solo endeavor. It requires input from various stakeholders who contribute their expertise and perspectives. This collaborative spirit enriches the storytelling process, leading to a more comprehensive and nuanced portrayal of events. Through this synergy, the legacy of Locomotive No. 3512 can be celebrated and honored in ways that resonate with diverse audiences. As we conclude this exploration of the role documentaries play in preserving the history of Locomotive No. 3512, we must recognize their power to not only educate but also inspire action. The stories told through film can influence public perceptions, drive change, and foster connections between past and present. By understanding how these narratives are crafted and shared, we can appreciate the importance of preserving our history for generations to come. Ultimately, documentaries serve as a bridge between history and the present, allowing us to learn from the past while paving the way for a more informed future. The story of Locomotive No. 3512 is just one example of how a well-crafted documentary can leave a lasting impact, reminding us of the lessons we've learned and the importance of vigilance in ensuring that history does not repeat itself. Many treasures are lost beneath bodies of water worldwide, each with its own unique story and historical context. Did you know that sunken ships, planes, and trains often tell more than just the tale of their last voyage? They can reveal secrets about the time they were operational, the technology used, and even the societal values of the era. This brings us to the fascinating story of Locomotive No. 3512, which rests beneath the cold waters of a Canadian lake. The myths surrounding it and the discoveries made from its wreckage are just as intriguing as the tale of how it ended up there. Most people think of treasures as glittering gold or ancient artifacts, but the reality is that treasures can also be pieces of engineering history, like our sunken locomotive. The fascinating aspect of Locomotive No. 3512 is how its story interweaves with maritime archaeology and the preservation preservation of cultural heritage. It raises questions about what we define as treasure and why certain artifacts are valued over others. The story of Locomotive No. 3512 resonates with a broader theme of humanity's relationship with technology and progress. As we examine this train and its watery grave, we find that it's not merely an object of interest but a reflection of our past triumphs and failures. It represents a cautionary tale about the importance of safety and the innovations in engineering that have emerged as a result of such tragedies. This locomotive sinking was not just a loss of life, but a pivotal moment that shaped rail transport safety regulations in Canada. Strangely, while most might think of trains as land-based, this underwater story also serves to remind us that our technological creations can also become part of the environment. It leads us to consider the impact that a sunken train has on the local ecosystem. These artifacts, while lost to us, can become homes for aquatic life, creating new environments and contributing to biodiversity. You may not realize how captivating it is to learn about other sunken treasures around the world. Each piece offers a glimpse into a time long past, and understanding their connections can provide deeper insights into human history. For example, sunken ships like the Titanic or ancient merchant vessels give us perspective on the technological advancements of their respective periods, much like Locomotive No. 3512 does. The stories of sunken treasures often evoke a sense of mystery and adventure. How do we honor and preserve these submerged artifacts? Efforts are underway globally to safeguard these sites from looting, environmental degradation, and neglect. Communities often rally around these tales, creating local legends that keep the memory of these treasures alive. The efforts to protect and promote such sites are essential not just for history, but also for fostering a sense of identity and pride in local heritage. As we connect the dots between Locomotive No. 3512 and other sunken treasures, it's essential to recognize the stories these artifacts can tell. The tales of hardship, innovation, and even tragedy can inform us about our past and guide our future endeavors. By studying these wrecks, we can glean valuable lessons about our relationship with technology and nature. Ultimately, the ongoing legacy of Locomotive No. 3512 and similar treasures offers us more than just historical knowledge. They encourage us to reflect on our achievements and mistakes, allowing future generations to learn from our experiences. The story of Locomotive No. 3512 teaches us that, while technology can lead to progress, it also carries the weight of responsibility and the need for continual improvement in safety and innovation. As we wrap up, consider the vast sea of history lying beneath the surface of lakes and oceans. Each sunken artifact is a piece of our collective memory, waiting to be explored and understood. The story of Locomotive No. 3512 is not just about a train. It's about our journey as a society and the treasures we leave behind for others to discover. Many treasures are lost beneath bodies of water worldwide, each telling a unique story and holding historical context. The narrative of Locomotive No. 3512 ties into this larger tapestry of submerged artifacts, blending tragedy with engineering marvels. When we think of sunken treasures, we often imagine gold or ancient relics, but here lies a train, an engineering feat that sank beneath the icy depths, becoming part of a rich history that speaks volumes about our past. Most people think of treasures as glamorous and opulent, yet the reality is that treasures can also be the remnants of innovation, like Locomotive No. 3512. This locomotive represents a critical piece of Canadian engineering history, reflecting the progress of a nation built on railways. The sinking of this train serves as a powerful reminder of the risks associated with technology and transport. It shows us that even the mightiest machines can succumb to the forces of nature. As we dive deeper into the story, it's essential to understand that each sunken artifact offers a glimpse into its time. Locomotive No. 3512 is no exception. Its journey from a bustling railcar to a submerged relic provides insights into early 20th century rail travel. The exploration of its history allows us to reflect on our societal values and priorities, both in the past and present. Strangely enough, while Locomotive No. 3512 lay at the bottom of a lake, it has contributed to the environment in unexpected ways. The train's wreckage has become an artificial reef, fostering marine life and highlighting the delicate balance between technology and nature. This transformation serves as a reminder that human creations can have lasting impacts, both positive and negative, on the ecosystem. Additionally, we should consider how this story resonates with other sunken treasures around the globe. Each artifact contributes to our understanding of humanity's collective journey. The connections between these narratives, be it a sunken ship, plane, or train, illustrate the richness of history waiting to be unearthed. By acknowledging these tales, we can better appreciate the lessons they offer and the preservation efforts necessary to protect our submerged heritage. It sparks curiosity about how we honor and safeguard these sites. Communities often band together to share stories, creating a sense of identity and pride rooted in their local history. The ongoing efforts to protect such treasures ensure that future generations can learn from the past, fostering a sense of continuity and appreciation for our collective heritage. Ultimately, the legacy of Locomotive No. 3512 and other sunken treasures urges us to reflect on our technological advancements, the lessons learned from past tragedies, and the importance of environmental stewardship. As we uncover these artifacts, we open a window into history, allowing us to appreciate not just the technological marvels of yesteryear, but also the lives they touched. As we conclude, let us ponder the vast history lying beneath our lakes and oceans. Each submerged artifact is a testament to human ingenuity, resilience, and the ongoing quest for understanding. The story of Locomotive No. 3512 serves as a reminder that history is not just about what we achieve. It's also about the lessons we learn and the legacies we leave behind for future generations to discover. Many treasures are lost beneath bodies of water worldwide, and each has its own unique story and historical context. The tale of Locomotive No. 3512 is no different, as it intertwines with numerous other sunken treasures, creating a rich tapestry of history that captures our imagination. You may find it surprising, but when we think of treasures, we often envision gold coins or ornate jewelry. However, the reality is that treasures can also include significant technological advancements like this locomotive, which represents a major achievement in Canadian engineering. Most people think of sunken treasures as simply remnants of bygone eras. However, the story of Locomotive No. 3512 serves as a stark reminder of the inherent risks associated with innovation. This particular locomotive sank during a tragic accident, yet its story is not solely one of disaster. It also speaks to the ingenuity and determination of those who built and operated it. It highlights the evolution of rail travel and the vital role it played in shaping communities and economies. As we delve deeper, we'll uncover how the legacy of Locomotive No. 3512 resonates with the broader narrative of sunken treasures worldwide. Each submerged artifact, whether a ship, plane, or train, connects us to the past in unique ways. The preservation of these sites provides insights into the technological and societal contexts of their time, reminding us of the fragility of human endeavor against the backdrop of nature's vast power. Interestingly, Locomotive No. 3512 also sheds light on environmental impacts. While it rests beneath the water, it has become an artificial reef, fostering marine life and demonstrating the duality of human creations. This transformation serves as a poignant reminder that our legacies can evolve, contributing positively to the ecosystems we once disrupted. Moreover, the story of Locomotive No. 3512 parallels that of countless other sunken treasures around the globe, each with its own unique narrative waiting to be discovered. From ancient shipwrecks laden with gold to modern submarines lost in icy depths, the common thread is the mystery and adventure that surrounds these artifacts. By recognizing the significance of such stories, we gain a greater appreciation for our collective history and the lessons these submerged treasures impart. Ultimately, as we explore the connection between Locomotive No. 3512 and other sunken treasures, we're compelled to reflect on the broader implications of technological advancement. Preservation and exploration of such artifacts not only honor those who came before us, but also teach us vital lessons about safety, innovation, and environmental stewardship. 3512 is more than just a story of a sunken train. It embodies the spirit of resilience and caution that resonates through time. As we delve into the mysteries of our past, we uncover the stories waiting to be told, ultimately shaping our understanding of who we are and where we came from. By cherishing and protecting these treasures, we ensure that their lessons endure for future generations, sparking curiosity and inspiring a deeper connection to our shared history. If you enjoyed this epic journey, please subscribe to our channel for more thrilling historical tales. Don't miss out on new videos. Hit the notification bell to stay updated.